Hi everyone, this is Winnie C., and I'll be your host for today's webinar, The Dangers of New Home Building. The presenter today is Andy May, COO of AAFMAA Mortgage Services. We have a few slides for you today, and we'll be talking for about 20 to 30 minutes. If you have any questions after the webinar, you can call or email Andy at mortgage@afmaa.com. This monthly webinar series is brought to you by AAFMAA Mortgage Services, LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of AAFMAA, offering a full spectrum of mortgage products to the military community. Currently, we conduct business in Connecticut, Florida, Maryland, North Carolina, and Virginia, and we will continue to expand to more states across the country in the months ahead. The AAFMAA Mortgage Services team consists of state-licensed loan officers. Among all of our professionals, we have decades of both military and industry experience. As state-licensed loan officers, we are required to provide a fiduciary level of care to our clients, meaning we must always act in your best interest when you work with AAFMAA Mortgage Services. We are an equal housing opportunity lender. This presentation is educational. It is for general information only, and it's not specific investment, legal, or tax advice for any of you individually. Do not rely on this presentation alone to guide your home purchase decisions. Since each individual situation is unique, the type of loan that benefits you the most will not necessarily be the same as another current or former service member. For individual advice, please contact us directly. We produce this webinar series in-house with our own professional staff as a service to our members and to help them better understand the resources that are available to them. I will now go ahead and turn it over to Andy May, who will go over the agenda.
Well, thank you very much, Winnie, and welcome all AAFMAA members. Today's presentation, The Dangers of New Home Building, is designed to give you all some great things to think about. It's also designed to make sure that you're asking yourself the right questions as you consider whether or not building a new home is right for you. So if we are all on page 4, you can see I like to always start with a definition so we can better understand what we're talking about. So we'll talk about definition of what new home construction is, some of the methods that are used in building new homes. We'll also talk about areas of concern and how to mitigate those concerns. And we also provided a 10-step process for building a home. And you can divide that up into 15 steps or 5 steps. We chose 10, and that should give you some more areas to think about. What we believe are the 3 top takeaways of the presentation. And then, of course, we end with a discussion of AAFMAA's proprietary new construction product. It's a mortgage loan that we offer to our members. So that's our goals today, and we'll turn to the definitions page first. Definitions include the custom home product that we favor and that we offer on a mortgage. A custom home, and I've built 3 homes myself, and I've been in the mortgage business for about 30 years, so I've seen a few things in my 30-year span. The custom home process gives complete control to the consumer or the member, you. You're able to control the design, you're able to control the lot, the location of your home on the lot. You're able to do just about everything with respect to your home that you want to do. You hire your own professional team, and that team should start with a loan officer at the beginning. Do not start building a home like I've seen some people do, and then after they're doing the framing, contact your loan officer. You will not do well if you're doing that, unless, of course, you're handy with money. So the custom home process, you get to pick your architect, you get to pick your builder. Oftentimes it may include having a realtor involved to find your lot. You should know whether or not your realtor is in a controlled business arrangement with your builder so that you can definitely get full access to all the lots in the area you're looking for. If you have a controlled business arrangement, your advisors. The second builder, the builder who is building homes and does not yet have them sold. So they trained and the roof is also ready to do a CO or a certificate of occupancy, and you get to pick out a few items. A few items might be backsplashes in the kitchen, or the way that a room is painted, or the moldings, or maybe some granite countertops, but you don't get to pick which way the house faces or a lot of the other features that you would get in a custom home. And then, of course, the last area, I'm not a huge fan of tract housing. I don't really advise that because it's more you negotiating against the builder. You're trying to get the lowest price possible. The builder is trying to lower the quality as low as possible so they can get the cost of your home very low, and then they try to get you to come on in with kind of a bait and switch price, meaning they lowball you on the price, and then you find out as you're going through the negotiation what the real cost is going to be. So those are the 3 types of housing for new construction. We're here today primarily to talk about the custom home. So if we'll turn to page 6, custom home building types. The most prevalent is the wood frame or stick-built home. That's what the majority of people are doing out there, single-family homes. There are different methods within stick-built, including manufactured, which could also be considered, if you put steel anywhere inside your house, technically it's considered manufactured. But oftentimes when you're doing the wood frame home, you hide the steel beam, well, you don't hide it, but it winds up behind the wall, so it is not considered manufacturing. But manufactured housing is not one of the product items that we finance. We are financing wood frame, stick-built homes. You can also have prefab panels in your home. Those are usually built at a manufacturing plant and delivered on site and constructed within your home. Prefab panels also could be considered modular homes. We finance modular homes as well. And recently, a lot of customers are starting to take a look at concrete slabs beyond the foundation, just because it's a great product in many areas of the country. And then, of course, If you're on the West Coast, you'll always want to reinforce your building with steel and stay away from brick. On the East Coast, a lot of people like brick, so it really depends on where you're building your home and what's prevalent in your area in terms of home construction. So if we turn to page 7, some of the beginning areas of concern in terms of the timeline, what we'll do is talk kind of at the beginning, what should you be concerned about in the middle, after a couple of months of working on building your house, what should you be concerned about, and then of course at the end, how do you get your certificate of occupancy and your permanent financing. So initially, the first thing I always tell people when you're building a house is plan. You have to plan everything. If you're good on the computer, you should have at least 5 different folders that you're tracking everything through, where you're educating yourself on all the risks and all the opportunities with respect to building your home. So start by planning. I recommend 60 days planning before you consider building a home. If you're good, understand if there's more keeping binders, but set your team initially. You need a realtor, a builder, an architect. You definitely need a loan officer unless you're paying cash. What we do is we qualify you on the construction loan, and then we also qualify you on the permanent loan. However, if after 6 months or however long it takes you to build your home, if you don't have a job, you won't qualify for permanent financing. So that's something to think about too, is whether or not your job is at risk before you launch into building a home. Know your budget. You should definitely have an extra amount of money to build. You shouldn't try to do it on a 2% overage. I recommend 20% overage just in case anything happens, meaning if you're expecting to build a $100,000 house, have $120,000 to build it, or access to at least that amount of money in terms of financing. And then, of course, be aware of any potential concerns around your lot. One of the homes we built was after a fire, and some of the rain came down the hill and pushed some of the fire debris into our foundation area, and the EPA showed up to help us with that. Fortunately, we didn't have to pay for that, but you should be thinking in terms of where the water flows are going, floodplains, if you're on the West Coast, earthquake preparedness, and what kind of general materials withstand earthquake. I know in the Seattle area, they're not as concerned with the earthquakes the way California is, but they should be. So you really need to do your research. I talked to a gentleman recently who is looking at going out to Oregon, Coos Bay, and Florida, two completely different areas and two completely different sets of environmental and subsoil concerns. So these are just some ideas to think about. That's the beginning area of concern. If we'll go to page 8 now. The middle area of concern is we don't have a lot here because things should be a lot better for you by now. You've got the foundation poured, you've got the framing up, you're starting to move into maybe doing the drywall after you put a roof on, things like that you're starting to think about. And so the middle areas of concern is usually the excitement part where you start to see the house coming into focus, the visibility of where you're going to be living, and things should be getting much less anxious for you. Your builder, if you've got a great relationship with them, they've provided you with quality materials. Your architect, everything's moving along well. You may have hired some designers. The only real area of concern here that I recommend is definitely sitting down with your builder well in advance and figuring out what the average number of engineering changes are going to be. And an engineering change is a change to the plans that is material. And so they charge you for that. And you should have already negotiated with your builder what those charges would be and what examples might come up. The tradespeople, that's an issue too. If you're building during the busy season and you don't have a lot of tradespeople, things can get delayed. We've got a gentleman in our neighborhood that is building his house by himself, and he's acting as the general contractor. We do not provide financing for that. He's spent over 2 years so far building this house, and he's had issues with the tradespeople coming in late, and he's kind of readjusted his schedule, and it's been over 2 years. So you don't want to find yourself in that location. You also don't want to find yourself with a mechanics lien, so you should have a conversation with your builder about how the subcontractors are paid. In the state of Virginia, it's very favorable to the contractor or the tradesperson to easily place a lien on your property if they're not paid. So I only highlight Virginia because that's one of the states that if you're building, you need to really have that conversation with your builder. And then, of course, making sure that the liability on site is taken care of, understanding some of the other issues that might come up. But this area, the middle area, is the least liability and the most exciting. So if we turn to the end area, we start to refocus on some more of the risks. One is, did you plan properly with enough resources? Do you have a contingency plan if you went over and had to add a whole new floor due to the fact that there was an unforeseen change? So the money issue is very important, and that's what we help you with. We get you qualified, and we make sure you understand the risks. You'll be going through inspections throughout the entire process, but the inspections now are very important because you are looking for CO or a certificate of occupancy. One of the big issues might be that the appraised value did not meet the expected value, in which case when you go for permanent financing, you may have to get a different kind of loan than you were expecting. If you lose your job, that's a big issue. You have to have an income source in order to qualify for permanent financing. And then, of course, if there are any builder-homeowner disagreements, which we never had during the build-out of the 3 homes I built because we did our homework up front and we're very happy on all 3 experiences. So if we move ahead to page 10, some of the things to think about when you're looking to mitigate the risks that you're going to be going through. One I've spoken of is keep a binder if you're not a computer expert. If you are, keep folders, but educate yourself and keep track of everything. Keep track of all the accounting, invoices, bills, budgeting, and insurance in one binder. Google everything, particularly in your area. Everybody's area is going to be different When I built in California, we spent about $150,000 just getting the architect and soils ready and proving to the local municipalities and the state government that the land was appropriate to build on. When I built in North Carolina, the same cost was $500. So every area of the country is different, and you need to use Google and do some research on your own, as well as contact your professional team of advisors. When you close a construction loan with AAFMAA, we believe you should get an attorney involved, and we get you a closing attorney, and that person becomes one of your advisors as well. So you have an attorney, an architect, a builder, potentially a realtor, and definitely the loan officer at the front end. Environmental issues, you should have a binder on that. Communication, you're documenting every time somebody is telling you something. Emails are great paper trails, but the important ones you should put in your binder or your folder. And then, of course, a calendar. You do not want to be spending over 2 years building your home. You want to be able to build it in a reasonable amount of time for the size and scope of your home. So if we turn the page to page 11, we have suggested a 10-step process in building your home. You could expand this or contract it as you see fit, but step one obviously starts with clearing the site, grading the property, making sure that the trenches and the footings for your future home are all done properly. This is where the property starts to take shape. You eventually pour the foundation and you get your inspections. If you have septic tank and a well, you will have already, before you bought the lot, made sure that the property perks and you're able to do septic and well. All of those things are done in step one, and then you start to move through these 10 steps that we've listed here. This is not meant to go through each and every one, so I'll stop on step one and just let you know, think about some of the issues that might come up as you move through each of these steps and what is important to you. Each customer has a different vision of their dream home. So you can go through that at your leisure. The final walkthrough, and the one thing I will say, in one of our homes that we built, the city required that we put sod in or have the grass laid down before we moved in. Ironically, at the same time, we received a two-week notice from the city of Greensboro that they may have to evacuate us due to the fact that there was a drought going on. Of course, we knew about that because we were about 6 months into building our home and we were ready to move in. So we picked drought-resistant grass, laid the sod, got this occupancy certificate, and fortunately did not have to leave because within that 2-week period it finally started raining again. But you always need 2 ways out of the foxhole. You always need a contingency plan, and this page is just meant to get you thinking about some of the interesting aspects of designing and building your home. So if we turn to page 12, the 3 takeaways, know your team and make sure that you contact your team early to best understand how you're going to build your home. So we've provided our team here for the mortgage side, myself, Andy May, that's my cell phone, TJ Powell, that's his cell phone, Clark Frederick, that's his cell phone. We also obviously will give you all of the AAFMAA phone numbers that you can reach us at, but in the mortgage business, we work until 10 o'clock at night, we work weekends, whenever the phone is ringing and we're picking up, we're working. So that's the kind of service you get with AAFMAA Mortgage Services. Google is your friend. Number 2, you need to be your best advocate. It is a buyer beware state in a lot of states, meaning it's up to you to be a responsible home builder. You need to understand the risks ahead of time, and the more people that are your fiduciary, and we are legally your fiduciary since we are state licensed, the better off you are. So consult with somebody that's been there before and has built their own home. Obviously, getting somebody who has never built a home or even owned a home is probably not the best source of advice, and a fiduciary is best. Control your team, your costs, build your binders, and know whom you are working with. So if we move on from page 12 to page 13, here's a quick overview of our construction mortgage product. One of the nice aspects of it is that we do include the lot financing. We go to a maximum of 80% financing, while many others go higher. Many do not include the lot. So we think that the fact that we're allowing for the lot financing at the time that you're going to be building provides you an advantage in your build. We give you a total of 18 months to build your home, so this is definitely not simply lot financing. This is definitely for somebody who is building a home, and we do vet your builder with you. So we verify a lot of the different items that secure a good builder with you. So if you present us with one or two builders, we'll run through them and give you our feedback and underwrite the builder as well. We require a 720 minimum credit score and a 41% maximum debt to income ratio, and we'll show you how to calculate that if you'll call us. The states that we're currently lending in are Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and Connecticut, and we do offer the construction loan in those states. And we offer up to 7 draws. There is 12 months of PITI reserves, which are principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So we need 12 months of payments, your monthly payment, as a reserve post-built home. And we qualify you when you fill out the loan application with us to make sure that you've got proper reserves to afford the house. This is for primary residence only, and of course it's AAFMAA members, which means vets and military only. And our mortgage sizes are $200,000 to $1 million. We do deviate from that, but it has to go in front of lending committee, and therefore it takes a little bit longer to move through the process. Let's see, if we turn to page 14, that's the information that we've got on how to contact us. Again, the mortgage@aafmaa.com email goes to the entire team. We did have somebody ask at this morning's presentation if what PITI meant. That's why I went into the details on that a little more. That's your monthly payment, and we do need some reserves. So we are very prudent about it. If you're a well-qualified borrower thinking of building your home, there's no one better than AAFMAA Mortgage Services to work with. We're well-qualified, state licensed, and have a tremendous amount of experience doing this. So with that, I'll conclude and turn it back over to Winnie.
Great, thanks, Andy. If you have any questions about the presentation, like what Andy said, feel free to reach out to us at mortgage@aafmaa.com. We'll go ahead and break here for now, but you can reach us whenever you need to. Do not hesitate to ask for help. We do this every day for our military community, and it's our pleasure. This weekend, you receive a follow-up email with instructions on how to access a recording of this presentation, and you can always sign up for future webinars or review past webinars at aafmaa.com/webinars. If you found this information useful, please share it with your family and friends. Our membership grows stronger every year because you introduce your friends to AAFMAA. Thank you again for joining us today. We look forward to have you at the next webinar.